Here's a truth we don't say out loud enough. By December, teachers are running on fumes, and students, they're running on vibes. And yet the pressure is still there. Keep teaching, keep them engaged, keep the lessons meaningful, but let me offer a gentle reframe today. Games aren't fluff. Games are cognitive load reducers. They're routines that give students something to hold on to when everything else feels chaotic, especially in December. So today I'm sharing 3 zero guilt low prep games you can use tomorrow to keep students engaged, learning, and out of the holiday chaos spiral without adding anything extra to your plate. Welcome to the Secondary Teacher Podcast, the podcast for middle and high school teachers juggling multiple preps to get the strategies to reduce overwhelm so that you don't have to choose between being an effective teacher and prioritizing important relationships. I'm your host, Kristen Masick, a 10-year high school engineering teacher, former middle school assistant principal, and teacher coach. Every week, we will discuss strategies, systems, and time-saving tips to help you not only survive but thrive as a multiple prep teacher. I want to take you back to year 6 of my teaching career. Every August, I did the same thing. I reinvented the wheel for the first day of school. New game, new activity, new whatever. And I loved the idea of novelty, but there were an issue of me having students who were in several of my classes. Until the workload of actually creating all that novelty hit me. Then one year I was wandering through the store, that late summer teacher haze, and I grabbed a Would You Rather family game on a whim. I thought, okay, I'll just make sure the questions are appropriate and see what happens. What happened was shocking. My kids were talking, they were smiling. I may have heard a laugh here and there, but they wouldn't admit it because, high school. They were moving around the room. They were engaged, genuinely engaged, and I wasn't even doing anything fancy. And that day cracked something open to me. I didn't have to build brand new activities from scratch to make learning meaningful. I could use what already existed and actually get better results. Would you rather turn into a filler activity, a warm-up, a reset button, an energy booster, a transition tool? And then I realized the games I thought were real teaching games, Jeopardy, slide decks, the basketball review game, were actually too much work for too little payoff. Only one student was engaged at a time, and I was spending hours building slides that felt lifeless. So I started tapping into games I loved growing up. Taboo, MASH, any old school card games, and adapting them for class. And suddenly, my students were more engaged with less prep. December became doable. Now, I'm not in the classroom anymore, but I'm still living the December exhaustion in a different way. I have 5 kids at home, and as of this week, I've already used 6 of my 10 allotted sick days this year. 6. And it's only the beginning of December. So sick season is real. The exhaustion is real. And whether you're dealing with your own kids at home or just the cumulative weight of the full semester of teaching, by December, you're running on fumes. And here's what I know from both sides. You don't have to be on in all of December. You don't have to create magic every single day. You just need structure, simplicity, and something that keeps students engaged without draining you completely. That's what these games do. They give you permission to step back without feeling guilty, because games aren't fluff, they're strategy. These 3 games hit the sweet spot: low prep, high engagement, movement or collaboration, reusable all year, and they work with any content. So let's break them down. Game 1, Would You Rather? There's movement, thinking, zero prep. This is your go-to in December. Here's how it works. Ask a would you rather question. Students physically move to a side of the room. They chat with someone near them about why they chose it. And another option could be to turn it into a content conversation. So why it works. Movement resets their nervous system. Choice lowers cognitive pressure, and discussion increases connection. And you don't have to prep anything. So you could do this with general pop culture kind of things. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer in anything with would you rather. It's purely opinion based, but you could turn it into something specific to your content. So you could ask, would you rather design a tiny home or a skyscraper? Would you rather debate this issue or write about it? Would you rather work with a $5,000 budget or a $50 budget, and why? You can use it for warm-ups, early finishers, transitions, end of semester chaos moments, or the last 10 minutes of class when everyone is melting, and it always works. Game 2, Taboo, the vocabulary game that actually teaches. This one became one of my favorites because it forced deeper thinking without heavy prep. Here's the basic idea. Students work in small groups or teams. One student gets a vocabulary word and has to explain it to their team without using a list of taboo words, words that are off limits. The team tries to guess the word and then you rotate. The prep level, sticky notes, scrap paper, that's it. You can write the vocab word on one side and the taboo words on the other, or you can grab pre-made cards. Why it works. It forces concept understanding, not just memorization. It gets everyone involved. It lowers cognitive load while increasing processing. And it works beautifully in December because it's structured and social. You can use it for science terms, career vocabulary, math concepts, key dates, or historical figures, safety procedures, architectural elements, whatever you're teaching. Taboo is the perfect mix of structure plus fun, and it's reusable all year. If you want the full instructions and pre-made cards, I've got those on my Teachers Pay Teachers store, and I'll link those in the show notes. Game 3, adapted board games, which you already have. This is a strategy teachers love because it gives you permission to reuse, repurpose, and stop reinventing. Let me give you a perfect example. My son is in 6th grade world history right now. They were learning about economics, things like scarcity, market systems, and resource allocation. And his class played Monopoly 3 different times, each with a different set of rules to illustrate different economic structures. Brilliant. That's what I mean by adapted board games. You use a game that already exists and you change 1 or 2 rules to tie it to your content. You're not making new materials. You're using what you already have access to. Here are some examples of classroom-friendly adaptations. So Monopoly, change the tax structures, resource availability, or starting cash amounts to demonstrate economic systems, equity, scarcity, budgeting, or decision-making. Uno, each color equals a category. Students must justify their matches, can be used for sequencing or classification. Jenga, each block equals a question, skill, or scenario. Pull a block, answer, or explain. Connect 4, each drop requires a definition, example, or explanation. Great for our argumentation or formula practice. Why adapted games work. They're familiar. They're low prep. They add structure and play. They show systems, cause and effect, and relationships. They keep kids engaged without fancy slides or materials. And most importantly, they remind you that you already have enough. You don't need a brand new game for December. So here's the reframe I want you to carry out of this episode. Games aren't downtime. They're strategy, especially in December. They lower cognitive load. They reduce behavior issues. They increase student-to-student interaction. They strengthen classroom culture, and they keep you from burning out. Research backs us up. When brains are overwhelmed, learning tanks. Predictable routines plus repetition are what keeps students engaged, not novelty, not over-the-top activities. Games equal structure plus fun plus low effort. That's the December trio we all need. Here's your low lift, do it now task. Pick one of these 3 games and create a January week 1 folder. Inside the folder, put the name of the game, the quick directions, and the content you'll plug in when you get back. That's it. Now, why does this matter? Because this tiny step is exactly the kind of low-lift decision that prevents winter break work. You're not prepping, you're pre-deciding, and that is what reduces January dread. Here's what happens when you don't pre-decide. You get back from winter break. You're still in vacation mode. You sit down to plan and your brain is blank. So you either panic plan the night before or you show a video and feel guilty about it. But when you pre-decide, when you've already chosen the game, already know the content, already have the basic structure, you walk back into January with one less decision to make. And that one decision can be the difference between starting strong and starting scattered. So take 5 minutes right now. Open a folder, digital or physical, doesn't matter. Write down one game. Write down how you'll use it, and then close the folder and forget about it until January. You just bought yourself peace of mind for winter break. If you want ready-to-use game templates or low-prep activities you can plug into any of these games, head on over to my Teachers Pay Teachers store. You can find it by searching my name, or I will include link in the show notes. Everything there is designed to save you time without sacrificing engagement, and that's the whole point. So friend, listen, December is not a test of your creativity. It's not a test of your stamina. It's not a test of your ability to make 18 slide review games. It's simply a moment in the school year where routines win, simplicity wins, and you win when you choose low prep strategies that keep everyone regulated. Games are not fluff. Games are the structure your students need, and you are doing better than you think. Until next week, take a break, simplify where you can, and know that I'm cheering for you.